My namaste, warm greetings, and hearty welcome to one and all present here. At this unique platform, 3H family welcomes each one of you. 3H Companion is an organization by the people, of the people, for the people, believes in civilization, human empowerment, spirituality, righteousness, courage, knowledge, wisdom, and above all, integrity. We hold workshops and sessions for social awareness, educational warfare. We have sessions of sex education, soft skills, life skill management, rejuvenation, and orientation programs for psychological development in different sectors of society for the better version of it. We welcome each and everyone here, especially we have today our guest of honor, Professor Dr. N. Tiwari sir, founder and international president, GAC Charitable and Welfare Council, GAC People Council, Global Journalist and Media Association, Social Peace and Justice, Global Worker Association, GAC Anti-Corruption Awareness Council, GAC Environment Council, Shri Dada Saheb Phalke International Award Film Foundation. So many charitable trust organizations Sir is heading. Sir Tiwari, we welcome you with a round of applause to our forum of this unique @ Kuch Baatein Zindagi. We also have our eminent guest speakers, Ms. Richa Sharma, Principal, Raghav Global School, Noida, and Ms. Rubina Mazid. She is a founder, an Edu lover, a teacher, a trainer, and really a person with a golden heart. To crown more work and achievement to our eminent guest speakers, I would like to invite Ina to take the sale further. Ina ma'am, over to you now.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for inviting me on this forum. And it's my pleasure to invite all the eminent guests, Dr. Tiwari, then Robina ma'am, and then Richa ma'am here. It's my pleasure, and it's a warm welcome to all of you from 3H Companion team, as well as I would like to invite my audience also and give them warm welcome to them also who are watching us on the social media and all the audience who is with us on in the Zoom meeting. So I would like, thank you, ma'am. It's a pleasure to have all of you here. So a little bit more about Rubina, ma'am, I would like to say. Rubina Mazid is a teacher by default, as she was a business major before she tested her teaching skills. She says that she is one of the fortunate ones to have seen the beautiful valley of Kashmir in its heydays, as she was born and raised in the place called the heaven on earth. Absolutely, ma'am, no doubt about it. It's such a beautiful place. Rubina is proud to be product of the following institutions: Presentation Convent School, Government College for Women, Aligarh Muslim University, and Seattle University. She has taught elementary, middle, and high school at the American International School in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, operated by the US State Department for more than 20 years. She believes in the continuous development of teachers, and she takes up a new course every year to keep abreast of all the recent educational research and innovations happening around in the education. Rubina's foray into teacher training began in 2003 when she was asked to lead the teacher professional department at the American International School in Jeddah. Rubina came back to India in 2008 and she runs her own consultancy called Teaching, Touching a Better Future, which trains teachers pan India for continuous professional development. In addition to this, she is consultant with Scholastic Publishing Company and Tata Consultancy Services for their education verticals. But despite all her work in the field of teacher training, Rubina misses being in the classroom as she feels that being with the children is the best feeling one can have. Undoubtedly, ma'am. No doubt in this. And that is the reason she runs a learning resource center that specializes in just reading and comprehension for underprivileged children. Great to have you here on board of Triet Companion Unique You Kuch Baatein Zindagi Ki. Welcome,
Thank you so
let's all welcome Miss Rubina Mazad ma'am here.
Thank you so much, Ina, for that nice introduction.
Next, I would like to tell you something about Ms. Richa Sharma. She's a strong education professional with a bachelor's degree in education and a master's degree in English from the University of Delhi. She's also a CELTA qualified teacher from the University of Cambridge, ESOL examination, ESOL, who has attended leadership training programs at Harvard Graduate School of Education, Harvard University, and Indian Institute of Management from Ahmedabad, apart from lectures conducted by professors from Harvard and Stanford University. She started her career in 2001 with Salwan Public School, Delhi, as an English language teacher and served for 9 years. Subsequently, she was the vice principal, Salwan Public School, Delhi, for 8 years. From June 2018 to May 2021, she was a principal and head of school at Balwantrai Mehta Vidya Bhavan, ASMA. Great, ma'am. She's a firm believer in collaborative leadership. She deploys her knowledge of developing a productive, child centered environment to maximize the learning experience and cultivating leadership in others. She has taken the challenge of developing the institution with a vision, empowering through learning and a strong focus on values, technology, innovation, and systems thinking. With over 2 decades of domain experience, she is instrumental in developing the strategic roadmap of the institution to maintain and progressively improve the benchmark in academics and extracurricular development and pedagogy. She is a dedicated, resourceful education professional with a proven ability in fostering relationships between the stakeholders, institution, teachers, students, and parents for creating a conducive environment where everyone learns. Creating a school that is constantly learning the best practices applied across the globe by designing teaching modules with a hands on approach and designing, developing, and customizing teaching curriculum for the students and assisting educators in the implementation of class instruction, lesson plans, and student assessment, which is a need of an hour, Richa ma'am. Absolutely amazing work you are doing. And she was honored with the State Teachers Award by the government of NCT Delhi for her key role in the growth and development of education. In 2020, she became a governing body member of the Universalization of Elementary Education Mission, Samagra Shiksha, under government of NCT of Delhi. So let's welcome Ms. Richa Sharma on this beautiful platform. And I'm sure we are going to get a lot of enrichment regarding education today because I can see everything related to education. And since I'm also from the education background, so I'm really feeling lots of enriching material is coming in just coming half an hour, 45 minutes. Thank you so much. And Chanchal ma'am, over to you now.
Thank you once again, Ina, for all pleasant things around us. Since the spotlight is already on Richa ma'am, so Richa ma'am, the first opening note, I think you should give us about education in today's world. Like you remain a teacher, you remain a vice principal, and then a principal. So I would like you to tell us something about unique in you, which always passionate you to do better every day, being a teacher, being a vice principal or a principal?
Thank you, ma'am. I think the unique thing about myself is, right from the commencement of my career is being a lifelong learner. Uh, since 2001, when I joined Salvan School and I was TGT, English teaching grade 6. Uh, I just completed my master's in English from Delhi University and B.Ed. And that was a point, when generally a mindset is that, yes, you are in a very comfort zone job. You've achieved your ambition of being a teacher, and you've completed almost your basic education, and it's time to teach your children. But I always remember the lines of my mentor, and he would always say that, Richa, the day you would stagnate and you would stop learning, you would actually be extinct like dinosaurs. A person, a teacher, an educator must evolve. And the best way to evolve is to keep learning, because learning evolves a person. So when you grow in the school, you must grow intellectually as well, because you are sitting in a classroom where you are producing the human resource which is going out of the classroom after 6 years, because I was teaching grade 6 children at that time. So he said that, imagine what these children would be after 6 years moving out of the school. What change, what value would you add to them? And it's very essential that you must learn along with your children the best practices in education, the best practices followed across the world in different schools. So gradually, you see, I had opened my mind to a lot of learning philosophies, learning educational philosophies. What were the key features of a good school? I had explored Vedanta philosophy of education. I had, then learned about what is Aurobindo's School of Education, what is Jiddu Krishnamurti's School of Education. I went and traveled across the world, and I went and observed Waldorf School of Education, the education system in US and then in Singapore. So the concern was, and my vision, as I mentioned, is that empowering through learning. So I kept learning, and I wanted to learn for my students, for my teachers, because I was forming a team, and for the parents as well, because we are stakeholders, and as one person I'm connected to four important strong pillars. One is my management that would always support me for learning. First, I'm learning for the student, for the child, because child is the story, child is the heart of a school, child is the heart of education. So I think the uniqueness about myself was that I always consider learning as the most important aspect of my life, and I would never stop learning till the last breath of my life, I would say that. So, and I always tell my all teachers and all my team members, don't look back, because we have to prioritize few things in our life. And I think first is the child, and second is the learning. So learn for your children, learn for yourself. Don't stagnate, because the stagnant water stinks after some time, and it's always the running water that brings life. It brings joy. It is a symbol of happiness. So the knowledge that you gain while learning and growing intellectually, you evolve as a person. So when I look back to 20 years of my journey, I have a lot of learning experiences to share. But if I would have been only an English language teacher, still teaching grade 6, I don't think so. I would have, much to share with my students, or much to share with society and with parents as well. So my keynote address is basically on keep growing intellectually, keep learning, never look back, because learning helps you to create a big picture of the future. the future that we want to create for our children, the future that we want to see. I want to see my children 5 to 6 years down the line, and the bridge to that future will only be created by educators only, because we could see that this particular career option is coming up. Now the new education policy talks about the 21st century skills. So very essential element of today's education is that, are we drafting our curriculum, are we planning our curriculum in pedagogies which are aligned with the 21st century skills or not? And for this, it's very essential for us to also learn how that planning has to take place. And as a principal of Raghav Global School, I would say that when I expect these learning objectives from my teachers, I think I also need to plan and work on these lines as such. So it's very essential that I also learn and grow with my teachers. So that would be my take on today's education and learning scenario. Very important aspect. Why 21st century skills? Because we need to connect our children with the industry, and the industry has certain requirement of the skills, and those requirements are not fulfilled only by the colleges or higher education. I think the schools also play a very, very major role as such. So the schooling is very important. The skills that are required by the industry, I think the inception is the schools only, K through 12 schools.
You're very right. If the foundation is firm,
Yes,
then we can have really a nice structure, a nice personality building, whatever. But the foundation really needs to be formed. But ma'am, there is one thing, like always we say that we should not look at past. But since very beginning in education, what we say to revise and recapitulate. And that's very, very important to connect the dots, right? Because if you are sailing today with lots of learning, it's all past experiences that gives us the present. We just do better in present because of those past experiences, maybe learning or lessons. So we need to, I think, little bit changes we always do, which are called innovations. But yes, that is always from the past we are getting into. And Rubina ma'am, I would like to just ask you to limelight upon the degree, okay, degrees which are required for the eligibility of a teacher. Is that makes a person a teacher, or the passion which a person should have to give others, maybe a knowledge, maybe skill, maybe you are directing somebody. So what's that actually? What is in your mind about a teacher?
Thank you so much for bringing me on. And Richa, I agree with what you said. 100%. That was great. Okay, so let me talk about what Chanchal just said about whether you need to have the degrees. So let me talk about my own example. I was born, my parents are from Hyderabad, but I was born and raised in this beautiful valley of Kashmir, where I went to school. And then when I went to college, and then, I am, I think, one of the first women who did MBA in India. So don't ask my age, okay? Don't you dare ask how old I am, right? So I'm one of the first few women who did MBA at Aligarh Muslim University, and I belong to a very conservative Muslim family. I'm a practicing Muslim. So I did my MBA, and when you're 20, 21, you have big ideas, right? You have big hopes, because in those days, I was one of the few women who had done MBA, and I had got so many offers, and of course I got married and I went abroad. So when I went abroad, my next door neighbor was the principal of the American Embassy School. So we would always sit outside, and I had 2 kids. And I still remember Jeff and Mike, both of them, the principal and the vice principal, were like, Rubina, you need to come and teach. And I was like, and when you are 22, 23, you don't want to teach. Take it from me, right? Unless and until you have that background or that passion. And I didn't, because I had an MBA, and that also from a prestigious university. So it was like, I don't want to. So they said, why don't you just come and substitute? So I went and started substituting. And I was taught by a very conservative missionary school, right? And when I saw what was happening under the American school, and my kids were going to the American school, so I said, "Oh, I really need to show what exactly does it mean." So I went back to school. I went back to school and got my second master's as teaching English as a second language from Seattle University. I got myself certified by the Illinois State Board of Education, New York State Board of Education. And that's when I got hired by the US State Department, where I was the only Kala in the Gora group. See, I sound very racist, right? But that's what I was. Okay. So that's when I started teaching. And I always had that feeling, because I was Indian, although I had lived in Canada, because that's where my husband was, and I had everyone looking, I got that feeling that everyone was looking over my shoulder. So, you know what we Indians are like. We want to excel at everything. We want to be perfect at everything. So I started taking courses left and right, and and I'm so proud of myself that I became really good. And within the third or the fourth year of my teaching career, I started presenting all over the world. I went to different schools that were operated by the US State Department to present. So that's how I got into continuous professional development. And then I realized, because I would come back to India very, very often, at least 4 or 5 times. Why? Because my husband was with the airlines. The tickets were not a problem, right? So I could fly wherever I want to. So thank God I had a lot of, mercies. So I would come back and I would say, oh my God, why aren't our teachers getting that? Because when you go to the States or Canada or to the UK, they always say, oh, Indian people are very tech savvy. They are the best. Then I look at my Indian population is like huge, right? And out of that, 10 to 15% go over there, right? And they think they are the brilliant ones. But yes, they are going to be brilliant, because Richa and Chanchala and Dr. Tiwari, you would agree with me that in every class you have 10% of the kids who are brilliant, right?
Right.
I cannot
Very right.
I cannot showcase those 10%. I need to showcase the average kids in my class. Agree? Why
Yes,
are we leaving them behind? Why aren't the teachers taking care of that? Why aren't the teachers being trained in continuous professional development? Why do they say that B.Ed is the greatest degree in town? I'm sorry, it is not. I mean, they could arrest me for that, but that's okay. But why aren't we getting that done for the teachers? Why aren't we bringing the latest theories into practice by the teachers? And like Richa said, she's been continuously developing herself professionally, and that is why she's where she is, and she wants her teachers. But I am sure, as a professional principal, you must have faced so many roadblocks, like, oh, is that important? Is that important? Well, you know what? Bring on the teachers, asking them to develop their own teaching philosophy, asking them to look at other teachers' philosophy, asking them to look at other educators' perspectives. That's what we need to do. And I think evolving as a teacher is the most important thing. And when I train teachers pan India. When I look at teachers, majority of the teachers are there by chance, not by choice. And that really hurts me, because there are so many wonderful students in 12th grade who want to be teachers, right? Why? Because they like teaching, but they are discouraged. And there is also not a specialized course where you could go in for a BA, and there is a course in education. There is a course in child psychology. So if a child wants to be a teacher, why not? And if you look at kids who are in like primary, they all want to be teachers because they love teachers, right? But by the time they are in middle school and high school, mom and dad have told them either it's a doctor or an engineer or something. So that is what getting to me. I wish we could change the mindset. When I was growing up, I think it was engineering and medicine. And when I was in college, oh yes, MBA had come in. So I did my MBA. But right now, I look at the avenues that are there for the children. Oh my God, there's a plethora of avenues. And why can't the children do what they want to? Why can't we have a counselor who sits with them and says, tell me, what do you like? Tell me, what would you like to do? Tell me, what's your ambition? Tell me, what do you want to be 10 years down the lane? Tell me what makes you excited. Tell me what amazes you. Tell me, what would you like to do for the general society? Tell me, what is the end result? What will be the end result of your education? If we ask those questions, if we're teaching the kids the life skills, which are so important, we're not doing that. And why can't we do that? And I'm not saying that all teachers, there's plenty of teachers who are so passionate, who want to do those things. But when they get into a school, they want to try it out. It's like somebody's pulling them back. You know what? If you're going to do all those things, we've got to do that too. So please don't do it. So there goes the zest. There goes the passion for teaching. So I'm sure if we had principals like Richa, we would go to places. But not every principal is like that, Richa, in my experience. Sad to say, but that's what's happening. So that is what gets to me. And it's like a very sore point for me. It's the thorn that's sticking out. But I can see that whatever I'm doing, it's making a small difference. I don't see a big difference, and that really frustrates me. But then I see a lot of teachers who come back to me and say, you know what, I wrote my educational philosophy and I got selected because of that document. I become happy and I can sleep well.
Great, great. This is lovely.
Thank you so much.
Core reality you put up, that there are so many passionate teachers, but they are not encouraged for that passion. And most of the schools, they are just about to finish up the syllabus, right? Syllabus is most important before learning. So coming back to learn.
If I may add one more thing.
Yeah, please, sure.
I look at what is being taught, and I look at the curriculum in India. India is the only country that has 5 or 6 curricula. That's the saddest part. Why can't we go by learner outcomes? Don't you think that a third grader in India and a third grader in America or Canada or UK or even Timbuktu, they should learn what a third grader should learn? We should have learner outcomes. I think I'm sure Richa, she's shaking her head, so I think she agrees with me. So if we go by learner outcomes, the curriculum for CBSE, the curriculum for IGCSE, ICSE, everything goes out the window if we go by learner outcomes. And my mentor was Professor Srivastava. Professor Srivastava was the one who started CBSE and NCRT. He passed away last year. He was 91 years old. And he is the one, I had that thing because I taught with learner outcomes, and he's the one who enforced and kind of reinforced my belief in learner outcomes. That's my bit. Thank you.
Right, exactly. Learning is actually constant, and there are many learning tools besides all our senses through which we are picking up. Today, if we see that there are strategies, innovating strategies, which people are using with all senses, which they always perceive or receive. Now coming to Sir N.N. Tiwari. Sir, you remain a very good resource of encouragement to all Corona warriors for last 2 years, encouraging them with the number of certificates, awards. So I would like to hear from you, your dream.
नमस्कार मैम।
जी नमस्ते सर।
सर्वप्रथम तो आपको और आपकी टीम को थैंक यू कि आपने मुझे मौका दिया यहाँ पे बात करने का, और जो भी हमारे उपस्थित हैं उन सभी को नमस्कार। मैम मेरा तो उद्देश्य ये था कि बहुत ही शुरुआती दौर में मैं जॉब में आया। जॉब के बाद मेरा एक शौक बोले या इच्छा थी कि मैं सोशल वर्क करूं। वो मैंने जॉब के थ्रू ही चालू किया। जॉब के थ्रू चालू किया धीरे धीरे करके मैं लगभग काफी टाइम लगा, और आज मैंने अपने खुद के एनजीओ तैयार किए। इसमें काफी लोगों की हेल्प मिली मुझे, और आज भी वो लोग हेल्प करते रहते हैं मेरे साथ। कोई मथुरा में, कोई पूना में। जैसे पूना में मिस्टर बजाज हैं, विजय कुमार बजाज, और मथुरा में आशु जी हैं। तो इन लोगों ने भी काफी मदद की मेरे शौक को देखते हुए। तो मेरा ड्रीम यही था कि, ड्रीम भी बोल सकते हैं, शौक भी बोल सकते हैं, कि सोशल वर्क किया जाए। और ये एक प्रयास था कि लोगों को इस कोरोना काल में मैंने नजदीक से काफी कुछ देखा था। लोगों ने कैसे मदद की, किस तरह मदद की, और ये सब देखने के बाद मैंने भी छोटा प्रयास किया था, जिसका मेरे पास कोई वो नहीं है सबूत कि मैंने क्या किया। लेकिन हाँ, मैंने ये सोचा कि चलो एनजीओ की तरफ से एक अप्रिसिएशन दिया जाए लोगों को। तो उससे क्या होगा, कम से कम अगर लोगों ने किया है तो ये थोड़ा सा रहेगा कि अप्रिसिएशन मिलने के बाद आदमी का मनोबल बढ़ता है, तो
Very
और
right.
ज्यादा करेंगे। तो एक मनोबल बढ़ाने का प्रयास मेरा था। इसीलिए लगभग मैंने सभी एनजीओ के धीरे धीरे कोरोना सर्टिफिकेट बनने लोगों में धीरे धीरे पहुंचा रहा हूँ, कि जिससे कि मैक्सिमम सर्टिफिकेट, लगभग 6-7 सर्टिफिकेट है मेरे पास,
जी
तो सभी का मैंने तैयार धीरे धीरे पहुंचा रहा हूँ, एक ही बार में नहीं। क्योंकि थोड़ा सा मोटिवेशन में धीरे धीरे अगर चलते रहें, लोग मोटिवेट होते रहेंगे। क्योंकि कोई भी चीज क्या होती है, अगर आपने काम किया और किसी ने आपका पीठ भी थपथपा दिया, तो उससे भी बहुत बड़ा मनोबल बढ़ता है।
वेरी राइट।
तो इसलिए जो है मैंने ये शुरुआत की थी। तो मेरा ये ड्रीम था जॉब के साथ साथ, तो क्योंकि मैं सिक्योर हूँ, मैं कर सकता हूँ, मेरा मानना ये था,
जी
इसलिए मैंने ये शुरुआत की थी। और धीरे धीरे मेरा अभी चल रहा है, आगे प्रोग्राम भी करूंगा। मैं आप लोगों को थैंक्स बोलना चाहूंगा कि चलिए इसी बहाने आप लोगों से मुलाकात हुई, चाहे कोरोना सर्टिफिकेट के थ्रू हुई, लेकिन हुई। तो
The
आपने जो ये
pleasure,
प्लेटफॉर्म चालू किया है, जी
जी,
जी मैम।
pleasure is both the sides to listen and to share, right? And
जी
since you are sharing and we are listening, we are again learning what Richa ma'am said, what Rubina ma'am said, that we are all
जी
constant learners. Unless and until we
जी
share, we don't learn. We don't listen, we don't learn. So it's a
जी
combination.
जी
Anyway, you are doing a great job, and I don't think you need proof. When you have a noble intention, a right cause, so no proof is required to show. People come to know. The smell spreads itself, and that has spreaded already. तो आप कर रहे
शायद इसमें
हैं
मैम
और
ऐसा, इसमें ऐसा है कि मैंने शुरू में यही, मतलब ठीक ठाक घर से हूँ मैं, तो फादर ने बचपन से ही घर के सामान लाने ये सब करना शुरुआती दौर में सिखाया। काफी कुछ फादर से सीखा, लीगल, घर के काम, ये सब सीखा। उसके बाद मैंने ठेका कर्मचारी के रूप में भी काम किया, जैसे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेबर होते हैं, कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल। लेकिन उसमें एक दिमाग में था कि मुझे अपने काम को अपने सेटिस्फेक्शन लेवल तक करना ही करना है। काम करने के बाद मुझे सेटिस्फेक्शन होना चाहिए कि मैं काम कर रहा हूँ तो सही कर रहा हूँ अपना, मतलब परफेक्टली टाइम बाउंड मैनर में, कि हाँ इस टाइम में मुझे करना है। इस तरह करते करते, और आप लोगों की दुआओं से ये जो जॉब मिली है, रियल बोलूंगा टाइम मैनेजमेंट की वजह से मिली मुझे। क्योंकि मैं
ग्रेट,
कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में था और मेरे बॉस ने, जो कंपनी के इंचार्ज थे, उन्होंने टाइम देख के उन्होंने बैक से मेरे को सपोर्ट किया था, और आज मैं जॉब में हूं उनकी बदौलत। वो जम्मू में थे, आजकल अभी हरियाणा में है, गुड़गांव में, रिलायंस के हेड है वो। तो उन्होंने मुझे सपोर्ट किया था, सिर्फ इसलिए कि टाइम मेंटेन मैंने बहुत किया उनके साथ। और वो लगभग 24 घंटे में 18 आवर्स जो काम करते थे, सरकारी कंपनी में होते हुए भी कंटिन्यू, बिना थके। तो वहां से धीरे धीरे करते करते मैं जॉब में आया। जॉब में आने के बाद धीरे धीरे बढ़ता रहा, मैं स्टडी भी करता रहा, क्योंकि कुछ कारणवश मैंने स्टडी छोड़ दिया था अपनी मर्जी से। इसमें मम्मी पापा को ब्लेम नहीं करूंगा, जैसे लोग कहते हैं कि मैं मम्मी या पापा या घर की परिस्थिति, मैंने बीच में छोड़ दिया था स्टडी। जॉब में आने के बाद मैंने अपनी एजुकेशन भी कंप्लीट की, सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग में डिप्लोमा एनआईटी से किया मैंने। उसके बाद मैं ट्रेड यूनियन में जुड़ा, 20 साल से लगभग ट्रेड यूनियन भारतीय मजदूर संघ के साथ जुड़ा हुआ हूँ, और स्टेट एंड नेशनल लेवल पे वहाँ पे पदाधिकारी भी हूँ। वहीं से बहुत नजदीक से लोगों को देखा कि लोग कैसे रहते हैं, कैसे जीते हैं। जैसे कि अभी मजदूर हैं, मजदूरों के साथ भी रह के मैंने खाना खाया, रहा हूँ, उनके साथ रहा, देखा। इस तरह देखते देखते एक विचार है कि समाज सेवा की जाए। मुझे मौका मिला और मैंने अपना एनजीओ चालू किया फिर कि चलो इसी बहाने अपन काम करेंगे।
Great, sir. Great. And that's what
ये
are the learnings beyond books and syllabus. What you said, that give us the learning beyond books and syllabus. The first thing is to recognize, remember and reciprocate. आप आज भी उन लोगों को याद करते हैं जिनकी वजह से आप हैं, और उन्होंने
जी
आपको मौका दिया कि अब आप औरों के लिए ऐसा ही कर सके. That's the
जी
beauty, sir. That's the beauty
जी
and unique in you. Thank you for that
थैंक
learning. Right.
थैंक यू
Ina
मैम।
ma'am, is there anything with you which you want to?
I think a lot of questions have been answered and beautifully answered, being an educationist, and a lovely conversation, I would say. Blessed to have Rubina ma'am, Richa ma'am over here. Uh, Being in a new pedagogy, really, I'm also into that innovation part, and I believe in that. That yes, the way we teach makes all the difference to the children, and it should be very, very creative, excellently creative, and lot of things I'm observing. If I talk about pre-primary sections, yes, lot of innovations are happening, and I think amazing work is happening all around in India. Lot of people, lot of schools are going for it. But if I look at the schools and the education after fifth, that means sixth onwards, there I'm little disheartened as an educationist. So what can be done there, because that is the time when the child actually starts learning on his own or on her own. So there I think more challenges are there with the teachers. So how they can be groomed and what measures can be taken so that it can be done at a very fast pace.
Ina, if I may add, what you're
Yes,
saying,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
you're saying is perfectly all right. And I think what we need to do right now is continuous professional development for those pre-primary and primary children, adding reading as one of the most important things, reading and reading comprehension. Because when they are going into working on their math, working on their social studies and science, the content is not understood by them. If they comprehend the content, they are able to answer questions the right way. But if they don't understand, it goes back to rote method, which we need to take away. So I think what we need to do is put a lot of emphasis on reading, have guided reading, which is like making sure that the children read content that is at their level or of their own liking. When a child feels accomplished, they want to do more. We are teaching them content at grade level. So not all the kids in my class are at grade level, right? They might be below grade level, they might be at grade level, they might be above grade level. Or they also have different tastes. So why can't I provide reading material? Why can't I go in for an excellent guided reading program? Why can't I have a reading specialist on board in the school? I am a reading specialist, so this is a passion for me. That's why I'm speaking so passionately about it. Pre-primary and primary has to put a lot of emphasis on reading. The moment
Okay.
and we also have to understand that English is not our first language. It is not my first language. It is a second language for me. So it's hard for the kids to do, and kids learn different languages faster, but it should be presented to them in an exciting way, in a way that they like the stories, in a way that is related to their life. The moment they start reading text that is related to them, they find interesting, they are going to read. So my take as a teacher is, let's give them a lot of reading exposure: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. When we have these four things in pre-primary and primary, I think our job as a teacher is done. I'm sure Richa will agree with me.
Uh, Absolutely, Rubina ma'am, I completely agree with you.
Call me Rubina. Please call me Rubina.
Yeah, what I would like to add here is that it's just right that a lot of work has been done at early childhood and primary level, but we need to focus on the middle years of our education. And here I believe, you know, that here in Raghav Global School, we focus on the competency-based education. And at RGS, we focus on three important aspects of, CBE. That's it. That is knowledge. It's about skill. It's about abilities. And you see the, core important components of the CBE that we implement in Raghav Global School is first the multiple pedagogies that we implement based on the problem solving skills. It's based on inquiry based learning that is taken care in the classroom. We have also taken up project based learning. Now these are the different forms of learning and methodologies or the pedagogies implemented, catering to enhance the the skills and the abilities of the students. So it's not only about knowledge or accumulation of information, it's also about skills and abilities. The very important aspect that we keep in mind at Raghav Global School also is the learning outcomes. Very essential. The assessment of learning outcomes as well is also taken care, because the objectives are set up as per the lessons, as per the activities, and the outcomes are also assessed. Because many a times a lesson is complete once it is explained, discussion is done, but there's no assessment of the learning outcome. So here I would like to share one of our achievements at Raghav Global School here is that every project or learning that is taking place, there are parameters to assess the learning outcomes as well. There is also flexibility of time given to students to complete and complete its learning experience as well. We have different learners, as Rubina ma'am said, let's focus on reading literacy. So there are different assessments and exercises which helps and guides a child to complete its reading comprehension. So keeping in mind the skill of the reading skill, the ability that the child can actually comprehend and understand. And last but not the least, it's also very, very important that it caters to all kinds of learners. So you have slow learners, you have children who have high who are extremely good at high order thinking skills. So it caters to that segment of the student.
Right, ma'am. Exactly. Only one thing I need to add it here, like, most of the times we always use children to tell that your head can remember, can reason, can think, all this. Like, but the thing is, do we ever ask our children to feed and speak to their head? Because our mind always listens to the instructions which we give, actually. We follow our mind, but let our mind also follow us. Let we start speaking and feeding our mind too, and see the beauty lies within. But this is a wide discussion. Education is a constant learning. It's so much to do, but the time duration is short enough that we need to now start our felicitation. And before that, Ina ma'am, please announce the winners of the last quiz.
Okay, let me announce the winners. They are, I think some of them are as it is here. Tania Tevatia, Miss Satya Sabapati, Priyansha Gupta, Fatma Sogra, Manaswi, Uttam Sharma, Anusha Haq, Adiba Sheikh, Fatima Sheikh. And the certificates would be there on the 3H companion page. They would be available by day end.
So heartiest congratulations to all the winners.
Absolutely. And congratulations to all the winners.
Right now, it's time for our today's quiz. So ma'am will be sharing the questions very quickly. You need to read from the screen and answer in Zoom chat.
Here comes your questions. Question number 1. Who is a CELTA qualified teacher? Mr. N.N. Tiwari, Miss Richa Sharma, or Miss Rubina Mazid? And you just get 5 seconds. We are moving. Let's be quick. Put it in the chat box immediately. Question number 2. Who feels proud being product of Aligarh Muslim University? Ms. Rubina Mazid, Mr. N.N. Tiwari, or Ms. Richa Sharma?
All are requested to mute yourself, please.
I'll mute. Chanchal ma'am, you can unmute yourself.
Now let's start our felicitation of today's episode.
Ma'am, let's welcome some guests also, those who have joined us late. Dr. P.K. Rajput sir is also here amongst us. Before this, Sanjeev sir had also joined in between. And I could see Dr. Manoj Sehgal as well. I think because of the crunch of the time, they have left. But then they were also here.
Welcome to Sir Manoj, Sir Sanjeev and PK sir. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure, my honor. Always my pleasure, my honor. Whenever I get time, I always like to listen and I like to learn.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So now let's honor and appreciate our today's guests. And we would like to first proudly present our token of love, a certificate of honor and appreciation to our guest of honor, Dr. N.N. Tiwari sir. Sir, heartiest congratulations. We are humbly honored with your presence for rendering your time and virtuosity at UNIQ at the rate Kuch Baatein Zindagi Ki. Once again,
thank you so much,
a round of applause.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Now, please stay here, sir, because we would like you to felicitate our guest speakers and our coordinator of the event. Now we have Ms. Rubina Mazid. Sir, over to you now. Congratulations. Sir Tiwari, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are going to felicitate Ms. Rubina Mazid, ma'am.
रुबीना मैम को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर्टिफिकेट जो दिया जा रहा है उसके लिए थैंक्स। और मैं अप्रिशिएट करता हूँ कि ऐसे ही हमें रुबीना मैम का साथ मिलता रहेगा और हम आगे भी कुछ ना कुछ सीखते रहेंगे। थैंक यू मैम।
Rubina ma'am, heartiest congratulations. A big round of applause to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now we have Ms. Richa Sharma. Tiwari sir.
जी मैम।
We are here to listen or to hear from you about Ms. Richa ma'am also. Please honor her.
नमस्कार रिचा मैम, बहुत बहुत बधाई। आपको यूनिक्यू की तरफ से मैम की तरफ से अप्रिशिएशन मिला है। आपका जो है नॉलेज काफी गहन है और हम लोगों को सुनने को मिला। इसके लिए आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। थैंक्स।
Heartiest congratulations, Richa ma'am. A round of applause.
Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you.
Now we have our coordinator of the event, Ms. Ina Singh. Sir, over to you now.
नमस्कार ईना, आपका कोऑर्डिनेशन में काफी अच्छा रहा। आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई।
Thank you so much.
इस अप्रिशिएशन के लिए Thank you, ma'am.
Heartiest congratulations, ma'am.
A round of applause to Ina ma'am and all the
Yes, ma'am.
winners of the quiz, right?
Heartiest congratulations, ma'am.
So much.
Heartiest congratulations, ma'am.
Now we would like to say thank you to Almighty and all the guests here for taking their time, for being with us, sharing their knowledge, pearls of wisdom, and all the participants for their encouragement, always giving us a booster to share and to conduct more in advance. And so a great thank you to everybody here.